There's this Chinese spy balloon, right? Picture it. A balloon the size of 3 school buses just floating over the United States, having a grand old time. Who knew the Chinese were into party planning? Despite the Biden administration's best efforts to put a stop to this balloon's aerial shenanigans, it somehow managed to gather intel from several sensitive American military sites. I mean, it was even doing figure eights in the sky, like it was auditioning for China's Got Talent. Here's the kicker. The info it collected was mostly electronic signals, like weapons systems and base personal comms. No fancy pictures, just a bunch of digital noise. The U.S. administration tried their best to move potential targets around and stop broadcasting signals to throw off the balloon spy game, but this thing just wouldn't quit. China, of course, played it off like it was just an innocent civilian airship that accidentally strayed off course. Sure. And my dog accidentally keeps eating my leftovers. The U.S. finally decided to shoot the balloon down over the ocean to avoid any damage or casualties on the ground. I mean, can you imagine the headlines if it crashed on land? Giant Chinese party balloon crashes, ruins suburban barbecue. Let's talk about the amazing journey this high-flying spy had. It first entered the U.S. airspace over Alaska and then somehow ended up flying over Montana, just casually hanging out near Malmstrom Air Force Base, where the U.S. stores some of its nuclear assets. Talk about a sightseeing tour. When NBC News broke the story of this Chinese balloon's joyride over the U.S., China suddenly tried to speed things up, trying to get their oversized party favor out of American airspace. It's like they suddenly realized they forgot to RSVP to the U.S. no spying allowed party. But the U.S. had enough of this airborne intruder, and on February 4th, they shot it down off the coast of South Carolina. I'm sure the fish had a field day with that wreckage. The Chinese government accused the U.S. of escalating crisis after the balloon was shot down. But really, when you send a massive spy balloon into another country's airspace, what do you expect? A fruit basket? And a thank you card? The U.S. government is busy piecing together the remnants of this giant spy balloon like it's the world's most challenging Lego set. They're probably hoping to find out just how much intelligence it managed to gather during its all-access tour of America's most sensitive military sites. And the moral of the story, folks? Well, if you're going to spy on another country, maybe don't do it with a gigantic balloon that could double as a Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade float. Just a thought. In the meantime, while everyone's busy analyzing the debris and pointing fingers, we can't help but wonder what other crazy espionage tactics are being cooked up around the world. I mean, if this was the Chinese version of a sneaky spy mission, what's next? A Russian submarine disguised as a cruise ship? An Iranian drone dressed up like a pelican? The possibilities are endless. And let's not forget the heroes of the story, the Biden administration officials who were running around like contestants in a game show, trying to scramble signals and move sensitive assets out of the balloon's path. It's like a high-stakes episode of Spy vs. Spy, but with more paperwork and fewer funny hats. As we wait for more information about this ballooning debacle, I can't help but imagine the conversation that must have gone down in the Chinese control room when they realized their spy balloon had been discovered. Hey, boss, you know what that giant balloon we sent over to the U.S.? Yeah? Well, it turns out they noticed it. What do you mean? How could they miss it? It's the size of 3 school buses. On the bright side, at least we got one heck of a story out of it. And who knows? Maybe this whole spy balloon fiasco will inspire a new generation of kids to dream big and invent even more creative ways to gather intelligence, like a fleet of ninja squirrels armed with GoPro cameras, or a team of psychic dolphins that can predict enemy movements. I mean, if a giant balloon can cause this much chaos, just imagine what else is possible. As we watch the aftermath of the great Chinese spy balloon caper unfold, let's remember to keep our eyes in the skies, because you never know when there's another sneaky airship might decide to pay us a visit. And until then, I'll be over here eagerly awaiting the inevitable Netflix series based on this whole ridiculous saga. On a serious note, what does this mean for national security of the United States? The balloon's ability to gather electronic signals, intelligence from multiple military sites, highlights the sophistication of Chinese surveillance capabilities. This event demonstrates that China can employ diverse methods to collect intelligence, including beyond traditional satellite reconnaissance. The balloon's presence in U.S. airspace and its ability to transmit intelligence to Beijing in real time underscores the challenge of detecting and countering such threats. The U.S. must invest in technologies to detect and neutralize such intelligent collection assets, which may include more advanced radar and electronic warfare systems. The incident has exposed the vulnerability of U.S. military installations to foreign surveillance. It raises concerns over the effectiveness of existing security measures and the need to re-evaluate and bolster the defenses of these sites to protect sensitive information and technologies. The spy balloon incident has contributed to increased tensions between the U.S. and China. Accusations and counter-accusations could further strain diplomatic relations, potentially escalating into a broader conflict. This event raises questions about international norms and agreements governing airspace and intelligence gathering. The global community may need to revisit these norms to prevent future incidents and promote transparency and trust between nations. The U.S. government's response to this Chinese spy balloon highlights the importance of coordinating between various agencies and departments, as well as communication with the public. This event may lead to the development of new protocols and procedures to respond to similar situations more effectively in the future. The Chinese spy balloon incident serves as a wake-up call for the U.S. government to re-evaluate its national security posture, focusing on detecting and countering advanced surveillance technologies, securing sensitive military installations, and engaging in diplomatic efforts to prevent escalation and promote international norms.